The United States has finally hit the landmark of $20 trillion in debt. This is very significant because the United States' total GDP is about $19.4 trillion. That means that the entire debt of the United States is now larger than the total gross domestic product. So how much extra debt has been piled on through the Trump administration this past year? For FY17, the deficit spending was about $600 billion. This is about half of what it's been for the past 8 years, coming in at around over $1 trillion annually. But back to the total national debt. It's hard to put in perspective exactly how large $1 trillion is. In order to do this, let's go through a thought experiment. How far back in history would you have to go to reach 1 trillion seconds? Would it be the Founding Fathers? The Mayflower? The Crusades? Stonehenge? To reach 1 trillion seconds in the past, you would have to go back over 30,000 years to achieve this. And the U.S. has accumulated 20 of these bad boys. So it's safe to say that the United States finances is pretty much the equivalent of a sad onion cutting itself right now. But looking on the bright side, there's a couple different ways of looking at this. So we're probably not going to be the ones paying it back, or more likely than not, it'll never be paid back. And a Mad Max scenario will emerge as the world economy implodes in on itself and sucks the world into a black hole. Another way of looking at this is if you owe the bank $100,000, the bank owns you. However, if you owe the bank $100 billion, you essentially own the bank. America has really taken this concept and made it global. America for the win. Now, along with the United States taking the world by debt storm, the politicians have also recently got together and decided to once again raise the debt ceiling. They're never actually going to stop borrowing money to fund deficit spending. This is in part because obviously they can't stop doing social programs because they'd get kicked out of office. Or would they? But it also has to do with the currency supply, because in order to create $1, you have to borrow $1 into existence, plus the interest payments on it. So where do you get those interest payments for? You have to go back and borrow another $1. The following scenario plays out something like this. So right from the get-go, there's more debt out there than there's actual currency to pay it back with, so this is kind of an unstable beginning to the money supply. From there it circulates in the public until it gets taxed back and then is used to pay off a debt. At this point, that dollar is destroyed and is no longer useful for anything because it's been paid off, and since that's what created it, it is now destroyed. So when politicians talk about paying down the debt, they're actually talking about completely destroying the money supply as it currently stands. Paying off of the debt would completely wipe out the money supply for the United States, and we would still be indebted to the financial institutions. This sort of scheme is what is known as a Ponzi scheme. At its core, it's designed to transfer wealth from the population to those that are running the printing presses. At the heart of the problem, it's really the monetary system that we follow today. Not only does it keep us captive and suck away wealth from us, but it does so from the rest of the world through inflation.